Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another Minecraft discussion on this glorious day. Giovanni and I saw a rather large beaver heading to her home over there earlier. I don't know where the big condos went. They were here, and I don't know what happened to those. Anyway, my name is Kimberly Quinn, and I'm very excited to talk with you today about becoming limitless. Limitless. Because limitless people know that anything is possible for them. Anything. And that therefore nothing or no thing is impossible. And so, number one, top of the list, right, is getting it that there's a power greater than us, regardless of how you label that, universe, God, source, higher power, whatever, but getting it, because we're just not going to make another step in that direction until we get that, and that this divine source runs through every single one of us, that the divine source, look at you, we found a little island there. Giovanni is not totally aware of his genetics because he prefers the shallow, not a big fan of the deep. Good boy, look at you. Anyway, so to be limitless, we know that we are filled with this divine source, and it just connects us all. Okay, connects us all, so we're tapping into that. Okay, next is that we are very good at sort of deriving, enjoying parts of just everything. Like, even if it's not totally good at our work, we are seeing the positive the majority of the time, really seeing the positive. Even, we're not talking about repressing and stuffing down. No, we're talking about, we might have a current job situation, or relationship situation, or living situation, or school situation, or whatever it is that's less than ideal. We might even be, in inches from getting out of there, and we're still realizing that our life minutes in that day are still important. And so even if we're like extracting things like with the tweezers during the day that are bringing happiness to us, even if it's having lunch with a person quickly, or if it's having a conversation by the water cooler, or you got to get outside for 20 minutes, or whatever it is, that we are very good at sort of honing in on some positive all day long, even if the situation is not good. We're very good at that because, we're also very good with who we are. The self-worth thing is also up there at the top, because seeing our own value, we can't really we can't give what we don't have. We can't do much without knowing our own worth. So we have to really know our own worth. And that's just an uncovering, because it's already there, obviously. We're all valuable spiritual beings walking around in different outfits, right, G? So it's just kind of an uncovering. And that said, so I'm thinking of like Harry Potter and the Mirror Air set. So any of the HP fans know, and I'll just explain to those of you who are not HP fans. It was in the first one. I think it was the Sorcerer's Stone. So there's this magical mirror in the castle, and Harry found it so he could sit in front of it, and then things that he wished were kind of behind him. So since his parents had died when he was a baby, they were showing up, and different things like that. And then Ron, his friend, he brought his friend to find it, and Ron sat in front of it and saw all these things he'd like to be, like the Quidditch captain, and I think the head boy of the hall, and all that stuff. And so Dumbledore comes down, who's obviously the headmaster, and he says, you kind of like, you're all set when you can sit in front of this mirror and see nothing but you, just you as you are, because happy and full and whole and complete. And of course, because you're authentic, exactly as you are, without all the wishes behind you, wishing this and wishing that. So that brings us to another thing. Oh, he's got a stick now. It's a rather large stick. So another thing is the limitless or self-actualizing people. We're also really good at celebrating the lessons in life. And we're not saying it's easy. It's so not easy. A lot. It can be super challenging. Life gives us lessons. Sometimes big quizzes, sometimes midterms, and sometimes final exams, right? And even if they totally suck and they're hurtful and excruciating, and we might even feel that we barely got through whatever it was, life challenge, it's a tough sell when you're in it, for sure. There's no question. When you're just like in survival mode trying to get through something. But in the end, though, we really are grateful, not for maybe the hurtful thing that happened, but for the growth that came out of it. We celebrate the spiritual lessons because each and every time we pass one of those, the quiz, the midterm, or the final exam in life, we kind of advance spiritually. And the, limitless people get that. We definitely get that. Again, it's not fun. It's a tough sell when you're in it, but wow, when you come out on top, it just, there aren't even words to say how good it feels. It's freedom. It's liberating. It's just, feels like we're just that much more free. I had a situation recently that was like that. It just, oh my God, tough, just a little thing going on. And then when it was like resolved and everything, and wow, you just feel so good. You just feel so, so good. So that's the other one, celebrating. And then also, oh no, there's another thing. Okay, so you're talking about celebrating the lessons, also talking about, oh, I just lost it there. The driving happiness and everything right where you are. Oh, here we go. Because if we're not already happy with some things, again, we're not saying that the situation's ideal. It could be far from it. It might be kind of bleak, right? If we can't kind of, pull the tweezers, all the happiness, and kind of just be grateful for what's happening now, what we have now, if nothing else, our breathing. Think of the alternative, right? So in the days when it's hard to find something to be grateful for, you head for the defaults, like breathing. Thank God I have another day. I'm back. Think of the alternative, right? My own personal default is also eyesight, because think of how different it would be to not have eyesight just for a day. And my youngest brother-in-law, that is the case for him. He's visually impaired to the point of almost blind, and he's such in a good mood. But I don't know if I can count on one hand the time I've seen him in not a good mood. And so I've known him since he was 12. Wow. And so that's my own default, because I think of Brendan going through that every day. And my God. So there you go. I mean, there's just stuff to be grateful all around us. Then our spine working. I mean, I do that thank you thing every day. You know that. I get up, thank you. Spine, thank you. My feet land on the floor. I don't say all that. I just feel it. Thank you. So that's the thing, because the universe, God, source, higher power, however you want to say, is not gonna give us more abundance if we're not already appreciating what we've got. Good health care here in the States, and glasses if you need them, and have them. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Clothes, food, blah, 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 blah. And so we need to do that too. And then lastly comes the envisioning part. The limitless, the self-actualizers, are really good visualizers, because it's not just we have to change how we think, obviously. As we think, so shall we be. We have to change how we think, or we don't have to. We can choose to change how we think, since we can't change what's actually happening. And that leads us to envisioning, to the point that it's not just we're envisioning something happening, because we don't want to become outcome-based. We don't want to encourage outcome-based happiness either, right? We're just envisioning the feeling of being happy, fulfilled, joyful, right? And leaving that open to what the universe wants for us, instead of attaching it to a specific outcome, okay? Just kind of, and feeling it so that we're not surprised when it happens. Because then the universe says, oh, they weren't expecting this. Don't need to do that again. We get to feel it and believe it. Believe it, because only when people say, like, how's that go? Wayne Dyer says this. It's not, we have it backwards as far as like, people say, oh, I'll see it when I believe it. Or I'll believe, the other way around, sorry. I'll believe it when I see it, right? And this is the thing. We've got to believe it. I think I just said that backwards. Anyway, I'll just say it from me. So it's not, we have to believe it first before we can see it, right? We have to believe it first before we can see it. That's what I meant to say. We've got to feel it. Feel like you just got the promotion, like you just landed the relationship, like you just got the house. You just have to, like you feel like you and your partner just got pregnant. You got to just like feel it as if it's already happened. Be grateful that, just be grateful, kind of the on its way thing. And because that's when it really happens. Because if you're all surprised and everything, that isn't how it works to have it actually happen. And we know research-based, it's research-based that visualization, it's been done with athletes forever, where they walk them through. I remember there was research on, I think it was a collegiate women's tennis team. And they did this work with imagining them, and I'm not a tennis person. I'm like a skiing, running, baseball, football person. But so I might get the words wrong. but the forehands and the serves and all that, and they walked them through. And the percentage of women when they actually had a tennis match, right? Not game, tennis match. Okay, when they had a tennis competition, it was a significant, like a majority difference with what from before to after, with the serves landing in a little square on the other side. It was amazing, and there have been so many, the sports psychologists out there that work with Major League Baseball pitchers and Major League NFL quarterbacks and things like that. We just know that that works. We know that that works. Picturing yourself in an ideal situation, and maybe it's not even a, promotion, raise or a new location kind of situation. Maybe it's just resolving some heartfelt, conflict that's been going on for years inside the family that you really want a resolution to because part of you really cares about this person and all the noise around it is just polluting what could be great. So picture yourself feeling that relief from whatever that is. Just feel the peace with it. Feel the peace with it. And that's how it all works. So limitless people are really good at this. They're good at being grateful, celebrating the lessons even when they're painful, and they're good at visualizing. And we absolutely are aware of our own worth and aware that we are connected in this infinite divine intelligence to everybody else. And we also get it that everything we need is already inside. There you go. Become a limitless person. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the beautiful Beaver Pond at the Notch in northern Vermont. Have a mindful, limitless day.